Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper and I'm here today for Scrapbook Boutique, and I'm going to be creating a retro MFT card, so using some My Favourite Things products. So I'm going to get this solid image stamp. I'm going to use it like a background stamp to create my own sort of, you know how those retro pictures have those real bold backgrounds and then an outline image on it? That's what I'm going for here today. So this large solid stamp is from the Circle Scribble Flowers set, and I've chosen 3 different inks. These are all Altenew inks, and I sort of stuck with that, you know how the retro colours, you know, they have the oranges and the greens and the blues and the browns and things. So I went for sort of green, blue and a grey combo today. So the colours that I used are Bamboo, which is almost like a chartreuse kind of colour. It's just beautiful, one of my faves. And Ocean Waves and Evening Grey, so it's one of the warm greys. And what I'm doing here is I'm cleaning off my stamp really well in between and sort of staggering these dots over a piece of cardstock that's cut to the same size as my card front. Because I find if I add a lot of ink to a panel, sometimes you can get a little bit of warping, or you might find you want to change your mind halfway through. So I'll often work on a piece of cardstock rather than the actual front of my card for those 2 reasons. So I always like to change my mind. I thought I'd share a quick tip with you here today. I need to re-ink my VersaFine Onyx Black. Here's my biggest tip. Make sure you've got the right re-inker. I know, sounds obvious, but I always do a double check, and so far so good, touch wood. But anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm actually squeezing, not hard, but I am squeezing out the ink as I'm drawing a line along the cube, and then I'm using the tip of the re-inker to sort of smush it into the actual fabric or the ink pad, but I'm not squeezing when I'm doing that. Does that make sense? So I'm squeezing out the ink, and then I'm using the tip to actually kind of like rub it into the ink pad, and this works really well. And then I do that sort of about 3 times, and if I own the re-inker, keeps my costs down. I've got more money to spend on stamps. Everybody's happy. And I don't like to waste either. And I find these ink pads, they just last forever. And in Australia, sometimes it's a bit hard to get some of these inks, and having the re-inker just gives you so much more mileage. Alright, so I've chosen 3 different owl images, and I'm going to sort of randomly stamp. It's not really random, it is random. It's meant to look random to give it that retro feel, but I'm going to stamp them over the panel. I decided to use the same image on each colour, but you could do whatever you want. You could actually stamp out all the different owls. There's so many in this set and they're really groovy. You could stamp out a different one on each one, whatever you want to do. I just think it's such a fun idea and a real easy card. This card came together very quickly. I'm making sure to stamp some of my images off the edge of the panel and off the edge of the circles that I stamped as well. That's my favourite one, the one on the blue. Just in case you hadn't noticed, I've used it a few times. Okay, my sentiment is also from MFT, and this is a die that comes from a set called Absolutely Fabulous, and I'm just using the fabulous part of the die cut. I've cut it in some black cardstock, also in some fun foam, and now I'm using my matte medium to add some dots of glue to the fun foam, and then I can adhere my die cut cardstock on top. And once I have it all lined up, I can just sit a block on top of it and set it aside to dry. And I find that this technique works really well for me. Actually, I sat 2 blocks on top. Alright, so I'm going to start assembling my card now, and I'm using my ATG gun to add the adhesive to the back of my panel. So this is going to go on top of my It's a top fold card, which is 15 by 10.5 centimetres, which is in a standard Australian size card. It's slightly different to the American size. And now that my sentiment's dry, I can actually just remove it from the fun foam. And to get out those little pieces of foam that are in amongst the letters, I just use a pick tool or a craft knife, whatever you find easiest. I have a sentiment from the same owl, I'm Owl Yours, that's where I got the owls from, stamp set from MFT, and I'm just selectively stamping that with my newly inked Onyx black ink pad. And the trick here is to remember to remove the mask before you stamp it down. I've actually done that, you know, selectively stamped something and stamped it out with that little piece of paper on that I had, you know, anyway. Maybe I'm the only one, maybe other people have done that. Okay, so while I've been babbling, I have added some liquid glue to the back of the Fabulous die cut and attached that to the front of my card, popped up the sentiment with some of the same fun foam, and bold moment here, adding some Nouveau drops, these are the ebony gloss, direct to the front of the card. I've decided to start a new club. It's called NDA, Nouveau Drops Anonymous. If you want to join, just write your name down below in the comment section. Alright, so I've got to go now. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back real soon. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.